Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I am ready for winter to be over so I can stop wearing clothes. And anyway, not clothes, whatever. Today we're going to talk about the new upcoming, potentially something happening with me business venture that I'm about to undertake because I am going to obtain legal rights to my software again. Previously, I had registered an LLC for that called EdTrack Express. I named it that because the software that I created, I called PLAD, P-L-A-D. At the time, it stood for Professional Learning Attendance Database. And it has since been renamed to Professional Learning and Development, but that's beside the point. When I I created that software when I worked at a state agency, and the director of that agency at the time that I started to create that software, there was particular members on the board of directors that I thought would take exception to me owning that software. Even though we had an actual lawyer, our agency's lawyer drew up a contract, and I purchased the rights to the software for $1. I expected there to be issues. Also, Plaid is not a registrable domain. It's already owned by somebody. So I decided I was going to rename the software to EdTrack Express. I don't know why. I think it had something to do with trains or whatever. I had a logo and all that sort of stuff that I came up with. And I formed an LLC with that name, and I bought the domain, and I started to work on it. And then when I transitioned to my current position, that all went away, and we just kept the name, and everything worked out. So now that I'm getting it back, I'm going to keep the project's name. I'm going to keep the product's name as Plaid. That's what everybody knows it as. It's been circulating around the state for a while now. Various entities have requested demos, and so I'm just going to keep that name in place. I will figure out a URL to purchase for it. I haven't figured that out yet. It might be a subdomain. So what's going to happen this time is I'm just going to register a new LLC that is just a general software company name. And I know that I told you I had a logo design, which I do, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But I want to talk about the name of the company first, because that's semi-important. It's not in this particular context. It's not like I'm searching for brand recognition, because there's not really a brand. I'm not. I am known. So, okay. The community that I'm targeting, or the niche that I'm targeting with this software company, is the public education sector here in my state. And in that public education sector, especially in my area, in the surrounding northern part of my state, my name is well known. Chevee Dodd is a known name. I worked in that industry for 8 years, and well, still do technically. I still work with them, so my name is well known. So the company doesn't really matter. Like, that's not going to be something that sells the products. What's going to sell the products is me, right? But I wanted to have something that was meaningful to me. I didn't want it to be just like Chevee Dodd Software Solutions. I already have Chevee Dodd LLC. That's what this channel runs under, and that's what my woodworking runs under. I'm registered as an independent artist, so I get to do filmmaking and make art, which furniture is a type of art. So, when I make stuff and sell it, I run it through that LLC. But I wanted to do something separate, and I didn't want to do something generic like, Mountain Software or whatever. So I thought long and hard. I came up with some names, and then one day it hit me, and I just heard, I don't know if it came across on the microphone, but I just heard the inspiration outside, and that is Corpus Corax. It's a blackbird. It's a raven. in particular. We have ravens around here. I used to see them during the summer when I walk the dog. I see them every morning over. There's a park over here that I see them at. There's about 4 that hang out in a general area over there. I've always been fascinated by ravens. I've always been fascinated by their intelligence, and I think they're beautiful birds. And in fact, I wear a Corpus corax feather on me at all the times. You've probably seen this necklace before. So, I decided to figure out a way to incorporate the Corpus corax scientific name into the company, and I started that search just by trying to find domains that I could register, a .com domain that I could register. Most of the simple ones were taken, Corpus corax, corax, that sort of stuff. So I started trying to figure out if I could techify the name a little bit. And I came up with 2, and both of the domains, I came up with 2 that have available domains. There's a whole lot of other ideas that I would love to have had that I think would have been a better choice, but the domain is taken and parked. There's really nothing on any of the other domains. And so I want to kind of shoot it at you. What do you think? I will show you the 2 text version logo things with the, well, I'll show you the text now. I'll show you the logo in a second. So the first one is Coraxial Solutions. I thought that sounded kind of techie. Axial Solutions. I thought that was kind of a neat play. I liked it for a few days. I sat on it, I liked it, until I started really thinking about, that's really like an adjective, and I guess solutions is the real thing, and what is Raven like? So I started kind of playing with the idea of maybe being Coraxian, like belonging to Raven. But Corax IAN was not taken. But what I did find was Coraxian was not taken. Coraxean. So I came up with Coraxian Solutions. So those are my 2 options. And after viewing those side by side, I like the Coraxian version better. I think it looks more balanced. The L on the end of Coraxial, I've never really enjoyed lowercase or uppercase L's at the end of words. I think it makes them look imbalanced. So I'm leaning towards Coraxian, but I realize that if I told somebody to go to Coraxian.com, they're probably going to go to Coraxian.com because that's the obvious way to spell that, and I don't own that domain. So I'm balancing between those 2, and I'd love to know what you think. As for the logo, I decided it means nothing because this isn't really I'm not looking for brand recognition. Again, this is just a shell company basically to house my software projects. So I decided because I'm going to design a sports team-like logo to be my brand's logo. And so here you go. It is a raven's head that I drew based on. I used some source art from, just searched like Raven's head or Raven logo, and I found a whole bunch, and I just kind of pieced bits and pieces, the things that I liked together from those, and came up with this Raven's head. So that will be one of those 2 things will be the company. I have both domains, so I'll just have them redirect to each other, whichever one works out. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and hopefully, in the not too distant future, maybe this will work out. Maybe I'll get other contracts and I'll be able to expand that business a little bit and have a little bit more passive or side income. Everybody can use that, right? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is luciferous. It is an adjective meaning providing insight or enlightenment, illuminating. Blake did not find the Ivy League luciferous, so he decided to devote his life to world travel instead. Luciferous. Luciferous. So seeing Lucifer in there, also the morning star, it kind of makes sense now. I never really understood how that Lucifer became a name for, whatever.